From the shores of Malibu where the waves are pumping, to the Great Wall of China, and back to the streets of San Diego, California, where the UFC is coming. We are live. This is It's Time Radio, the show where we talk about what you think about, but may be afraid to voice. Don't worry, we'll voice it for you. It's no holds barred radio, folks. UFC, film, politics, sex, drugs, rock and roll, you name it, we'll talk about it. We got a really interesting show today. I'm here with my co-host, my producer, TJ DeSantis. TJ, you look like you're out in the tropical region of where? Southern California?
Yeah. I mean, you said from the shores of Malibu. I'm from the backyards of Orange County right now. So.
There you go. Nothing like that. Okay. Well, I'm near the beach, so we'll be the shores over here. And we have two very interesting guests. And of course, even more than interesting after last weekend, we have the James Krause, fighter turned trainer, turned coach. We're going to talk about that. And not only that, but his protege, the man he watches after, the man he trains with, the man who's the true champion, Brandon, the baby assassin Moreno. Brandon.
Let's go.
Champion again, Brandon. Call it interim, call it whatever you want. I call it champion, okay? Champion.
Let's go. I love it, bro. It's nothing, guys. Thank you so much for the space. We're here rocking again.
Yeah, no, it's always great. It's always great. You always got so much memorabilia behind you. You know, one of these days I got to check it out. I know you're a pop guy. You're a pop lover for sure. Brandon, I can't say enough about your performance on Saturday night. I mean, it was just a war beyond a war beyond a war. I want to say I didn't read exactly, but can we call that a liver kick, TJ?
Oh, I mean, rib roaster to say the least.
Rib roaster is right. I mean, I was sitting beside the octagon. I felt like we were at the Apex with no audience. It was so loud. In the midst of 15, 17,000, however many people were there at the sold out American Airlines Center. It was unreal. And then while Brandon's, showing his warrior spirit and proving the true warrior and champion he is, I'm looking behind him while I'm announcing, and there's the James Krause. And it's like, I'm used to staring into your eyes, James, while you're getting ready to go to war. And now you're hanging over the side of the cage, watching your man Brandon about to go to war with the monster he had to fight. It was a pretty nice surprise. I was not aware that, you were cornering and working with Brandon. So great game plan, great everything. I have to start. Let me just start with you, Brandon. How's your take? How you feeling after this? You look great. You're handsome as ever. Don't worry about it. It's all good.
Thank you. No, man. I mean, obviously, talking about my body, I feel a little bit sore. My foot hurts too much. That kick will be awesome in my highlights, but it was very painful too. Right now, when you start to cool down, like, oh my goodness, my foot, I can well very well. But obviously, I don't care. I was right now in the Performance Institute, getting some PT, some therapy. And Panic and Sad was there, and like, when you win, if your body is sore or whatever, doesn't care.
Yeah.
So my eyes too, like, is a little bit painful. 10 stitches in total, but I don't care, Bruce. I won, and that's all that matters right now. I think the fight was amazing, and the first and the second round was very good. Yes, the elbow disconnect. I feel a little bit disconnected of my mind in the middle of the fight with the elbow, but then at the end, I tried to put more pressure again, and I was like back in the battle.
Yeah, no, you were there. It was incredible. And your heart, Brandon, it always shines. It shines in every fight you're in. James, I got to ask you, while you're watching this war and seeing the back and forth, and Brandon's, we'll call it a comeback during the fight, however you want to call it, he won the fight. In the corner, when he came back after that first and second round, can you share a little bit with us what you were telling him, the game plan?
Yeah, the first round.
Let's go, coach.
I thought the first round was close. My one complaint in the first round was like we didn't have a ton of lead hand action. So like Brandon would kind of like let him in spots that we were doing a really good job moving to the right, circling away from the power, circling away from the kick. But there was times where we were kind of letting him off the hook a little bit, and it was a close round. I thought we took that one. And then the second round, he got his lead hand going a lot more. and was still moving to the right perfectly, doing all that stuff. And the lead hand action, in my opinion, is what really, like, when you move to the right, you take away the power back, the power hand and the power kick of Kai,
Right.
and you force him to fight lead hand to lead hand. Brandon's got an amazing lead hand, jab, check hook, uppercut. He's great with his lead hand. So if you're going to circle to that way, you got to start being more lead hand active. In the second round, his lead hand started coming out a little bit more, which is what we had a lot more success for. And then in the third round, obviously, he got the cut, and you could see him kind of like get distracted for a minute, and then you see him, like, I could tell you the second he refocused and started listening again. And I got to be honest with you guys, like, my number one concern going in this fight, the first fight together, was the language barrier, because there's times where when I get super amped up, I start talking really fast and it's hard to understand me. But he understood, like, man, he was listening so well in the corner. I honestly am I am amazed at how well we played together, man. It was really remarkable. He listened so great. He's one of the most coachable fighters that I've ever had the pleasure to work with. And obviously I'm ecstatic of the performance. I think we had a great performance. I think Brandon is a very difficult matchup for Kai. And I've said this in just about every interview that I've done. You know, Brandon was a world champion before he came to me, you know. But I think with the new team that he's got, and it's not just me, he's got Hector, Hoya, and Capetillo all bring their own pieces to the puzzle. But I think even though he was a world champion before he made all these moves, I definitely think you could see some improvements from fight to fight. And that last one, I think he fought more with his brain this time than he ever has.
Mhm.
And yeah, I think it was really fun to watch from a fan perspective and from a coaching perspective.
You know, that was the thing that was interesting for me for the move. And I don't mean to be disrespectful by saying this at all, but you kind of alluded to it, James. Like, Brandon Moreno has amazing heart. He's the epitome of a Mexican fighter, but everyone is complimentary of your, you know, fight IQ and how you pass that on to athletes. And if you're going to compete at the high level that Brandon is, capturing this title and hopefully holding on to it like he has in the past as well, capturing a title, you have to be firing in all cylinders. Heart is great. Don't get me wrong. You can't teach heart, but if you got the brain clicking with that heart, you're essentially unbeatable.
Absolutely. Well, the heart for me is like an ace in the back pocket, right? It's not something that you should rely on. It's something that you should have when everything else is even. You know, like when the striking is even, when the grappling is even, when the cardio is even.
Right.
Both beat up. You know, like the will to win, the heart that Brandon brings to the table. That's where, I mean, honestly, that's what won him the first fight with Kai, in my opinion, was his will to win, his determination, his pressure. You know, and that all comes from his mindset and his heart. You know, that's something that you want to have if you need it.
Right. I always hate complimenting someone's chin. You know, oh, they got a good chin. Well, that's code for they get hit a lot, you know?
But hey, man, in this game, when everything is so even, sometimes that's the difference. You know,
right,
sometimes that's the difference.
It is. But, you know, at the same time, you don't want people taking shot after shot after shot after
Of course
shot.
not. Of course not. And that's why we had him circling to the right, you know, just stay away from that power. Like, this fight could have been really hard, and it could have been really, I don't want to say really easy, simple. It was very simple. The game plan was very simple, and we had a really good idea of what he was going to do. And you can ask Brandon. I feel like what he thought, you can even hear me say this in between rounds. I said, all he's looking for is that overhand right and that low calf kick. I feel like we spot on nailed what we thought they were going to do. I don't think we could have done that any better.
Well, you know, with Kai France and the pedigree of fighters coming out of Auckland and all that kind of stuff, the champions coming out of Auckland and everything going on, there was a huge power behind him to shine and perform in this fight. And I knew the last thing, I have to estimate the last thing you're ever going to do is take, and I like Kai. He's a good kid, you know, and the last thing you can do is take a warrior like that, you know, for granted, for sure. But when he went down with that liver kick, as I like to call it, it's just, you know, I remember, you know, I've gone down from a liver kick too. It's like the worst thing. Your whole body just completely shuts down. You just can't even get up. And that was proof, and excellent refereeing with the way that went. You know, there were a couple things here I want to comment on real quickly. Brandon, as always, when you communicate in your after fight interview, you know, you're always so sincere. You're always so humble. It's always so beautiful to watch you. communicate, you know, with your passion for the sport and the war that you just had and your family coming in. I mean, it's a beautiful moment. It really is. But this moment was so respectful, which I really love between you and Davison. You know, when
Oh, Davison wanted to kill him too, and Brandon like diffused that instantly.
It's just like you shut down the warrior with kindness, but that was the kind of mutual respect. And when he held your hand up, I mean, this is what I live for. This is what I'm all about when it comes to fighting. I get so sick of the needless trash talk at times, and I don't want to go into it.
Well, he's back to talking shit again, right?
It was a quick turn.
Oh, Dale, you know he's going to, but at least that moment,
already
there
has.
was that moment.
Yeah.
He said in the moment, Brandon, I had so much rage. Brandon calmed me down, but now the beast is back. He did an interview yesterday about this.
Yeah, that's okay. That's all right. Brandon had his moment with him. Let him talk whatever. It's like Johnny Unitas always said, I'll see you on the field, superstar. Let's we'll play on Sunday and see who's going to win this game.
Hey,
right?
I'm curious about that next fight with Davis and Brandon, because when I look at the trilogy already, it's not very often we see four fights between two fighters, especially for championships in the UFC. But you know, the first fight ended in a draw. The second one, you were firing on all cylinders, and the third one, a lot of people thought that you did enough to take that decision despite what the judges said. Do you feel like momentum is on your side coming into a fourth fight with Davison, even being the interim champion and the man who didn't get his hand raised in the last meeting?
TJ, I think like I have a lot of things to say about it. Like, at least for me, was very, very refreshed to fight with another guy. Okay?
Right, sure.
I feel like my third fight against Davison, I mean, even with that, the fight was very close, right? Was very entertaining. Was a fight of the night in that event. But I was a little bit obviously tired to fight with the same guy for the
Sure.
I know he was tired too. I understand that part, but yeah, man, I feel very tired to fight with the same guy and the same like trash talk and whatever, so anything like with no congruence or whatever. So to me, it was very refreshing to get on a different game plan and different phase, a new challenge. And now this guy need to fight like the fourth fight in a row against me, and right now I feel like I have an advantage with one more fight. That will be amazing, man. I'm so excited to make more history in my career, in my legacy. Talking about the fourth fight in the company, I mean, will be the first time, I think, not just for the UFC. I mean, I think for the mixed martial arts in general. So man, that will be crazy. I know, like, we can sell a lot of pay-per-views, we can sell everything if we want with that fight.
And that's the thing too. I think, Bruce, you'll sign off on this. You're a genius when it comes to branding. Like, I don't think you can have branded Brandon Moreno any better than he's branded himself lately. Like, this kid is a star. They were going crazy for him in Dallas.
As the saying goes, Brandon is branded. Okay.
Right.
But you want to make sure you keep that branding consistent, Brandon. Boy, I'm going to get tongue twisted here. You want to make sure you keep that branding consistent, Brandon, because you want to brand yourself forever in the most consistent way and don't stop. And you're doing it. You're building a brand. The reaction to you walking into the American Airlines Center was fantastic. The whole Mexican background, everything. I mean, it's all poetry, man. It's all perfect poetry being played out perfectly. It's up to you and James and all the people handling you and working with you to work in synergy together to keep that brand moving forward. Like, I just got a call from somebody called Rubet, who I know you work with. Right?
I love those guys. I love Anthony. I love the brand.
Yeah, well, they're talking to me about working with you on something coming up, and as soon as I don't like talking things till they happen, but
okay.
We're probably going to be doing a little bit of work together. Obviously video in different rooms. We won't be, you know how life goes with that. But I'm excited to see that you are branching out, that you are getting these other areas of income. Plus, you got the bonus again, which Megan told you about in the interview. And I have to pry. Did you get 50 or 75? What are they handing out these days?
50. It's fine.
50. Hey, 50's 50. 50's 50.
50, man.
Right? No 50 is no 50, and 50
Exactly.
is 50. And we're not
That's true.
talking about 50 cents. Okay. It's $50,000. All right. So that's the way it works, which is very, very cool. And then now, medical suspension. Have you received your suspension?
They gave me 45 days for the cut.
Right.
Pretty typical. That's normal.
Well, I'm
It's
going to give you,
normal,
I'm going to give you 35 days for SPF 50.
no? Okay.
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 You know, you don't want to scar this thing. I mean, you're down there where you live. All right. It's sun territory. Okay. No sun tanning for a while. Put the SPF on. Let's
Okay.
keep the movie star looks. Okay. So the more branding and deals come through. All right. It's all
All
part of the
right.
game, man. You're a handsome kid. You want to maintain that. I think it'd be very hard to hurt it anyway. And
Hey,
people
just
love
real quick,
scars.
in all seriousness, Brandon Moreno has a story that I think is unparalleled when it comes to mixed martial arts in the UFC. Not too many people in the modern era will get cut from the UFC and then fight their way back, let alone fight their way back to multiple championships in the UFC. So I feel like, Brandon, like the movie is a foregone conclusion. We're gonna have that movie. And I remember asking you one time who you thought would play yourself. You said McLovin, which I thought was very funny. But I'm curious, who plays James Krause, Brandon? You got to cast a James Krause character now in your life story.
Damn. I don't know, man. Who can play James? Who can play the coach?
Come on,
I don't
James. We all like to think about who would play us. I was told Ryan Reynolds was going to play me in a movie one time, and I thought, wow, okay, that's fine.
I don't know. I'll
Tell-
leave that up to you guys. You guys tell me. I
Tell me
don't-
some good name, something crazy.
See, I feel like James looks a little bit like Rich Franklin, who looks a little bit like Jim Carrey, but Jim Carrey's way too old to be
Carrey.
Oh, Jim
to,
Carrey's
to,
not
to
gonna
be
work for
James
this one.
Krause.
No.
So I don't know.
Who's
They'll fight.
people say that I look like Jared Leto.
I can see that. I can see that for sure.
I can see
Okay.
that. Yeah, no,
That's
actually,
one, bro, that dude's skinny as hell.
Well,
Yeah, but you know what?
He'd
He's
have
the
to get on a
kinda
workout regimen.
he's the kind of actor that can put on 40 pounds for a role as well as lose 40
I'm
pounds.
good with
for a
Jared
role.
Leto. I'm good with that.
I'll go with that. You're picking one
go.
of the finest actors in Hollywood. That would work. That'll
I'm good
work.
with that.
I like it. I like it. Hey, Brandon, quick question, typical question. You fought Kai. You fought Figueiredo. You got hit by both. Who hits harder?
Easy.
Ah, man. You know what is the problem, man? Figueiredo is huge, man. Figueiredo is like huge. He need to cut a lot of weight, and that makes everything harder when we talk about power. You know, his punch is heavier than Kai. Kai like is smaller than Figueiredo. So that's why definitely I think Figueiredo. But Kai is faster with the right hand.
Yeah.
For sure. So that put a little more the balance with both guys. But talking about that just power, I think Figueiredo.
Right.
Hey, are you worried about that weight, Brandon? Obviously, Figueiredo has had issues making 125. There's, Joe Rogan even alluded to the fact that he didn't necessarily think that he would stay at that weight class. Are you worried about him being able to make championship weight?
Maybe. I mean, my problem is the for starting from this weekend. Maybe the guy wanna have the fight in like 4 or 5 months or something like that. Maybe for the weight, right? And I don't want to wait 4 or 5 months. I wanna fight before at the end of the year. Last year I fought just one time in June. This year I have the fight in January. I had the fight last weekend. So just one more. Just I just want to be active and keep going. I mean, 3 fights in 1 year is perfect time if you don't have any injuries or whatever. But yes, my problem right now is Figueiredo. If he wanna put more time to try to make weight.
Yeah, but I mean, seriously, there's 4 or 5 months. There's 5 months left in the year now, so you have your 4 or 5 months. You fight at one of the big shows in November, or December. Figueiredo's a professional. He's got plenty of time to make weight. This isn't a month from now. This isn't 2 months from now.
It's
I don't
not
even think
about
that should be-
time, though, Bruce.
not
I think it's about how big he is. Like,
He's
it's
got to
just a
be,
tough-
dude. He's got to be at least 170, 175 pounds right now.
Yeah, it's tough. I know. Well, I mean, okay, James, you're the coach. All right, you've got Figueiredo in your stable. Pardon me, guys. You got Figueiredo in your stable. A fight's called. Say, well, they can't even make a fight for a month until he's off medical suspension. Correct?
Well, they can make it whenever they want.
They can make it whenever they want.
Yeah.
All right. So let's say they make it for November. You got 4 months. One of the big fights in November.
No way. There's no way.
There's no way he can trim down that much.
I don't see it. I mean, I'm being conservative when I say 170, man. He's big. He's really big. And he's still there. I mean, they were talking on the interview yesterday, like there's still some stuff with his finger, I guess. I don't know. Like, for me, for somebody to cut, let's say he's 175. That's a 50-pound weight cut for somebody that is fighting at 125. Like, do that math. That's like 40% of his body weight. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, I mean, if you're talking in 4 months time, you're looking at, what is that?
12 and a half pounds a month.
12 weeks, divided by, I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot of
It's
weight.
a lot of weight. That's a lot of weight.
Just so you guys know, like a 7,500 caloric deficit is equal to 1 pound of fat.
I thought it was 30. I thought it was 3,500. It's 7,500.
I think it's 7,500.
Wow.
Even if it's 3,500, that's a lot. That's a lot of weight. I just don't, it would be very difficult for him, in my opinion, to cut 50 pounds. I mean, cause he's going to have to get off 30 to be able to cut 20 in water, and 20 in water for a 25er is very, very, very difficult.
And even if he makes it, like, what shape is he going to be come fight time? Because he's got to be on.
Hey, I'm with it. Let's do it.
Oh,
You know
you'll
what I
be
mean?
fighting. Yeah, you'll be fighting a potentially weak, not weak, but a weaker opponent. But at the same time, it's like, as a matchmaker, and the amount of money and publicity that's got to be spent by the UFC to promote a fight like this, that's a dangerous call to make a fight like that.
Well,
So now what I'm thinking now is it might not even happen. I mean, you're getting in my mind now that it might not happen.
To me, I think that's the reason that this was an interim championship. I'm not trying to, insert drama here, but I think there's obvious concern about Davison's ability to make the weight moving forward. And, why hold up the division if we're not going to get him to fight again until, 2023?
Well, then we go back to that thing we've had happen many times in the past, where does Brandon come in and fight defending the interim? Or because he can't make weight and we've got a 6-7 month delay, do they just create another championship?
When you look
when
you look back at the last result between Davison and Brandon, again, a lot of people thought that Brandon, won the fight. So whether there's an interim tag or not, that one half of that fight is at the very, least 1B of the best in the world. If Davison is 1A, Brandon's 1B. And a lot of people are going to disagree on the placement of those two letters. So he might be the best in the world. So let's just have the championship fight.
Well, what if they tell Brandon's got to fight somebody else?
But yeah, I mean, Pantoja made a great case for it. That's a great fight. Let's watch it.
It's a great fight. I actually would love to see that fight. James, how do you see it coming out? You're the coach. What do you see? Put your crystal ball together. What's going to happen?
Just from a business perspective, I think the UFC has to do everything that they can to make the fourth fight with Figgy. I mean, that's a huge money fight from a business perspective. It's a fight everybody wants to see. Again, I mean, obviously, just look at their trilogy already. I got to assume that this trilogy will go down in the Hall of Fame one day, in the UFC Hall of Fame one day. I mean, it's just been an amazing story so far, and it's unfinished business. They're 1-1-1. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, you literally can't write a better story about this. So I have to think that the UFC is going to try to put this together. Now, if I had to guess, and I'm sure Brandon's not going to want to hear this, but if I had to guess, I would venture to say that they're probably going to push towards January, February, because I mean, I don't think he can make it this year. I just don't think he can. I don't think he can safely make it. And when I say safely, I don't mean safely make the weight. I mean, can he get to a place where the UFC feels comfortable enough to set this fight? You know what I mean? Like, because they're not going to set the fight now when he's 55 pounds overweight or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to make themselves look stupid like that. So they got to get him to a spot where he's even able to potentially make the weight. That's a lot of weight, guys, for a 25. Now we're talking about a middleweight. I've seen it done numerous times.
Right.
We're talking about a flyweight. That's like 40% of the, you know what I mean, of the weight he's trying to get to. That's a lot.
Yeah.
James, let me ask you another. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I just don't know if he can make it in this year. It doesn't seem safe, and I'm not sure the UFC is willing to risk him missing weight again, like he has before in the past.
So, when you think about this and you think about the weight he carries around, do you think it's Figueiredo's fault that he's one of these fighters that does not stay in shape, weight 365 days a year for that call that says we need you in 4 weeks? Is he allowing himself to get too much out of shape, or is he just a big guy that just wants to fight at flyweight and control the flyweight division?
I can't really speak to what he does out of camp. I know, like, if what they're saying is true, then he's had an injury and he hasn't been able to train. So that's why he's so big. But I know he gets big in the off season. I can't speak to how he trains in the off season, like in between fights. I mean, like, I don't know that. Personally, for my athletes, especially as of late, I've been gravitating towards lesser cuts, and I'm known to be when I was fighting at lightweight at one point, walking around at like 195, close to 200. So I used to cut those big cuts. You know, I used to do that every time. And I just don't recommend it to people anymore. So, I mean, obviously it's hard to argue what the dude's doing. Like, even if they are 1-1-1, he's a former world champion. You know what I mean? So it's hard to argue to a former world champion or a current, the current world champion. It's hard to argue that, hey, you're doing something wrong because you're the world champion. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that he's doing anything wrong because he's the world champion right now.
We know who
No, he's not
James
doing
saw
anything
won
wrong.
that last fight.
Yeah.
He's not doing anything
Right,
wrong.
right.
It's not that he's doing anything wrong, but when you think about the commitment to losing 40 pounds, 50 pounds of body weight, which basically means that a training camp that normally, by my guesstimation, is in an 8-week approximate period, this is a 5-month training camp. This is no time off.
Right.
I'm with you. I agree. Like, I don't agree with it. But once again, I'm not in his camp. I listen, I coach this guy right here, and this guy's on his shit. You know what I mean? Like, this guy's on his shit, and he lives the life. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I want to see. And my athletes is, he lives the life. I don't know what Figueiredo's doing. I don't think it's smart what he's doing. I don't like it. I do think at some point this is going to catch up to him. But you're the world champion, man. Do it. You know what I mean? Do what you think is best. And I got to be honest. I for my selfish coaching reasons, I want us to fight Figgy again. I do.
Brandon sounds like he just wants to fight.
No, Brandon wants to fight.
He's a
But at
fighter.
the same time, we're talking about fighting so much, Brandon. But Brandon, it's time to play a little bit. It's time to have fun. I asked you this, I think, the last time we were in the show. What is Brandon going to do for Brandon? What is a toy Brandon wants? What is Brandon going to take a little chunk of money, aside from taking care of your beautiful family? What is Brandon going to do for Brandon? Tell me what Brandon wants to do. I don't want to hear about fighting right now, Brandon.
All right.
Right? What does Brandon want? What is going to make Brandon happy? And what is going to say, I deserve this. I've worked my ass off for this. It's
Brandon's
time
gonna
for me
buy a
to
rental
treat
property.
myself.
A
Okay,
rental
that could be-
property, I guess. So my thing is right now to put some amount of my money in investments,
Mhm.
and after that,
Not
so my
crypto.
goal-
No crypto. Okay. Don't put that money in
Okay.
crypto. Not right now.
Hey, I
Be
will
careful.
crypto for this fight, but I don't know how is the
That's okay.
the
Diversify a
currency
little
right
bit, a
now.
little here, a little there, but don't put a big chunk in crypto. Don't put everything in one basket. Okay. I
No,
like what
no,
James said.
no.
I heard rental property from James. You hold on to it. You get a piece of real estate that works well. You buy it right. In 5 years, you'll always do well, and never sell it unless you need the money. It's one of the best ways to make money in the world. So James, good call there. And I get the feeling James look after your fighters, don't you, James? I get a feeling you do.
I try.
Like
I
that.
try.
Good.
Hey,
Good for
listen,
you,
hey,
James.
listen.
Good for you.
Thank you.
I'm trying to see if there's stock in Lego right now that Brandon can buy, because I know he's down with that.
Man, you know what? I feel even bad to buy more Legos right now because, for example, before the fight, a lot of people gave me gifts like Lego sets. So I have right here. Let me see if I can show you guys. Like, I have a lot of homework to do right now.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, look at that.
Here, I have another one here, and I have another few ones in my bag, in my backpack. So I don't know. I right now I feel very bad to buy more Lego sets. I have a lot of homework to do. So I don't know, man. I just wanna. I will have some vacations actually with my wife and my manager, with Jason and his wife. We are going to Italy. Then we are going to France for the UFC event there. So I'm excited to do that.
Oh, great. I'll see you in US. I'm bringing a friend of mine to Paris too. So let's all have
Nice.
fun together. Very good. It'd be nice to see you and your wife in Paris. That's very cool. But before you go, Brandon, it's
Let's
time
go.
for you to have
Puncher Chase.
I hope you had a few shots when you got home.
All right. Let's go.
Take a few shots, you get a few shots, okay?
Okay.
good.
Perfect.
James, what's your words to Brandon as far as training, getting in the gym? What do you want him to do?
Oh man, listen, I don't have to tell this dude what he's already doing it. He lives the life. He's the one of the most dedicated athletes I've ever seen. This is why he's a world champion, multi-time world champion, is because you don't have to tell him. He knows exactly what he needs to do. He's already He's already back in the PI doing his recovery. I know he went on a run the other day. Like he's already doing, you know what I mean? He's already doing that stuff, you know? So
Good.
he's focused. He knows exactly what he needs to do. And that's why I love coaching him. I don't have to do that stuff for him. He already knows what he needs to do. As a matter of fact, on the other end is I got to tell him to like, hey man, like chill out a little bit. And he's gotten so much better at that. So much better at that. So that was a big improvement in camp. Like by the end of the camp, he said, Coach, I think I should be done. I'm like, let's go. Oh man, let's go. We're learning. # growth. Let's go.
There you go. I forgot about one thing. What about your commentating? Your commentating job. That you're out of the octagon work that you do for the UFC.
You can be talking to both of these guys right now, Bruce, because I've actually worked with James in the broadcasting
Yeah,
side as well.
that's
so
why.
they're both
okay.
talented in
He's
this
talking about Brandon.
space.
Talking about Brandon.
Yeah.
No, man. When I won the title last year, I needed to go less to the job because I have less time, with the meet and greets and that stuff. I mean, that is a good problem, I think so, right? But yeah, I still have the job. Just I need to find the correct dates to do it. But yeah, I mean, I think my next one is in like 20 something August.
Yeah, Salt Lake City. I'll see you in Salt Lake City. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I mean, you are going to Salt Lake City, but no, I mean, it's in the Apex.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know what? I wish I just had to go to the Apex. I'll tell you that this month I've gone, Singapore, Dallas, Singapore, New York, London, Dallas. Trust me.
I think
I'm
you've made
glad
status.
I'm not doing the show this
That
weekend.
sounds tired, man.
Yeah, I think Bruce has made status in 1 month for all the airlines already. So
Yeah, no, it's too many. It's too many.
What about you, James? I know you announced your retirement. Do you want to try to focus on the broadcast side of things? Because you're obviously a great analyst.
Thank you. I think I just started doing this show for the UFC. It's called UFC Breakdown. It's like Inside the Octagon. I think it's a show that Dan Hardy used to do. It's kind of like that. I really enjoy breaking fights down. I like stuff like that. I do that, and then obviously I break down a ton of stuff on my podcast and all that stuff. But I have plenty of stuff to keep me busy. That's for sure. But yeah, I mean, I would love the desk. I would love the commentary and stuff like that. Just I think time is against me. You know what I mean? Like I don't have a ton of free time.
It's a shame when you're so good at so many things, but you can only focus on a few at a time. Can't do too many because you are really good at what you do.
Thank
I'm
you.
not just talking about the coaching. I'm talking about when you do the commentating work.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You do an excellent job. It just makes me so happy to see fighters that think beyond their guns. I always say that on the show, and please, the protege here, Brandon, right?
Oh, he's all
beyond
over
his guns, beyond his guns. Keep working at it.
I just want to see Brandon back in the combat jiu-jitsu match. I know you're talking about activity, Brandon. You ever consider maybe going back down and competing for a CJJ world title?
Man, I know I had one combat jiu-jitsu tournament. Was very excited. Was very funny. You never know, man. You never know. Obviously, right now it's like something out of the fights a little bit risky, for
Sure.
all the things I need to do with the UFC. But you never know.
Yeah, maybe a super fight down the road will get you back out there.
Maybe, yes.
Hey, you know what? It's great to have all these choices. Just make the smart choices. Right?
But you know what? Because I mean, I remember that tournament in combat jiu-jitsu. Everything was fine, but my hands was like very, very swelling, like balls.
Yeah, that's what happens when you hit so hard. Even open-handed, your hands.
Man,
take a beating.
that moment was funny because it was was the first one, and I was watching the first match. I think I was the second one or tier one. I don't remember, but the guys was like throwing the slabs like very soft.
Yeah.
And I don't understood in that moment, like, hey, it's a kind of rule. I need to throw like light or whatever, or what happened? Like, and then Victor Davila told me, no, man, you can do whatever. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dudes
Yeah.
are getting knocked out now.
I've
would
announced those. I've
Oh
announced
yeah,
those
I have the
combat.
second one.
Yeah.
No, I've seen it. I mean, TJ, you work them all the time, but the ones I worked, I mean, I saw somebody get knocked out, and of course, we all know you can knock somebody out with a palm strike if you hit them correctly with it. They're still brutal. They can be brutal.
Yeah, absolutely.
What about you, James? Would you ever do combat jiu-jitsu now that the MMA career is over?
Yeah, man, I've done 2 grappling matches, but I keep getting up with the fucking guy from Game of Thrones, the Mountain from Game of Thrones.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm tired of dude. The last 2 guys I've grappled are 265 pounds and 272 pounds. Like, if I could grapple some of my own size, I would love that. That'd
Yeah, it's
be
that open weight format. We need to get you in combat jiu-jitsu where you're doing like
I would love,
middleweights.
100%. I think I would love combat jiu-jitsu. Absolutely. Yeah.
It's just cool to hear that you still have the will to compete, James. I like
I
that.
train every day still. I train with these guys. I trained a couple hours ago. Like, I train every day with the guys. And I think that's one of the things that kind of makes me different, you know, is I like to train with the guys. I like to feel, you know what I mean? I like to still evolve the game, and I still like to compete, you know, like not necessarily in fighting, but like I compete in coaching, I compete, you know, in jiu-jitsu or whatever, you know, I'm still a competitor, and I don't think that ever goes away.
No.
Yeah, Brandon, call Victor. Get Krause a combat jiu-jitsu match.
Yeah, call
Let's go.
against who, coach? Who you want?
Who coach? Oh,
Oh yeah. We have a super
I don't
fight
know.
now.
I gotta see
There you go.
I gotta see who's on the roster.
All right, let's go.
Look it up. Let's look it up.
Let's start with Victor.
all right,
There we go.
gentlemen. I'm gonna let Brandon go play with 1,000 of the pop figures he's got behind him and everything else. Start opening those boxes and getting those things together. And Brandon, again, it's time for Brandon to get himself a little toy. Okay, invest your money, but a little toy for Brandon, whatever that
Little
might
toy.
be. Not
All
just
right.
the toys that are behind you. You know, I know you like watches.
Yeah, I love watches.
Let's
Yeah.
go, B. Let me know when
No,
you're ready.
not like games, but yeah, I love watches.
Oh,
Let me know when
James, you're a
ready.
watch freak, James?
I'm a watch guy.
What kind of watches you like, buddy?
I mean, I like all kinds of watches. I have a Richard Mille, a couple Rolexes.
Damn.
Yeah. I got the Kermit on right now. I love the Kermit Rolex.
I have a Pepsi on right now.
Ah, there you go. Love it. Love it. And Brandon, where's your watch? Okay, next interview, we're going to see one on your arm. All right.
All right. I
All
have a little big house right here.
That's
There you go.
okay. I'm just
That's
playing
nice.
with you, Brandon. Just do whatever you want to do. Just have a good time. Most of all, do what you do best. Just take care of yourself and take care of your beautiful family. That's the main
Appreciate
thing.
it, bros.
That's
Thank
the
you
main
so
thing.
much.
You're very, very welcome. Probably see you on the Rubed surface here maybe soon.
Yeah,
And
very soon. That's true.
outside of that, I'll see you around the campus. Just take care of yourself. Heal this thing 100%. Get those movie star looks, you know, maintaining themselves, and all good. James, thank you so much for taking care of Brandon and the other fighters you take care of. It's one thing to be a great fighter. It's another thing to have a quality, great coach behind him, because it's like being raised by great parents. You know, we all need proper direction in life. So thank you both very, very much for coming on this time again. Brandon, you're always welcome. James, of course, you're always welcome. TJ, I got to deal with you every week, so it's not even.
Sorry.
a question.
See you guys.
you,
Appreciate you
TJ.
coming on.
There, guys. Thanks.
Thanks so much.
See you
Take care,
guys. See you,
champ.
coach.
Take care,
See you
James.
later, coach.
Later, B.
The MMA's new power couple, James Krause and Brandon Moreno. Not a pairing I think even a lot of people even knew about, Bruce, but one that worked very well Saturday night in the octagon. And you know, the way that they get along with one another, it's probably something that's going to last here for a little while.
Yeah, I think so. I don't see that. You know, Brandon is the kind of young fighter that would be so loyal. I just don't see him causing issues. And we can tell the fighters that would be hard to work with and easy to work with. I think we know who we could name.
Oh
them.
yeah. And that's the thing too. Like it's hard to sort of get too deep into it when both James and Brandon are on the line. But Brandon, you know, was a guy who got his walking papers from the UFC, and you know, we've seen a lot of talented athletes, you know, get cut because it's the hardest promotion to obviously stay in
Oh, yeah.
in the sport. But I've said this, and I you know, remain vigilant by the statement. It's a lot easier to get to the UFC in modern times than it was, say, 10 years ago. But it's really, really hard to get to the UFC, stumble, lose a few fights, get cut, and then fight your way back. And then to do so and capture now multiple championships. Brandon Moreno is alone, I think, when it comes to as far as history is concerned. I was trying to think about other fighters that have been cut from the UFC that have captured a title. And the only person that I could come up with was Vitor Belfort. And I don't know if Vitor was even cut. This was back in the day when a lot of fighters would just fight out their contracts and then go over to Pride, or even have a, you know, UFC contract and just take a Pride fight or two. But Vitor was the only guy that I could think of that, you know, had a run in the UFC, lost a couple fights, left, came back and captured a championship. And, you know, Vitor's championship, you know, was built on a cut of Randy Couture's eyelid due to the glove. So it's not
Right.
nearly as story-esque as Brandon Moreno's. But yeah, man, Brandon Moreno is truly, like we talk about his heart, literally and figuratively, he has heart where a lot of other athletes just can't seem to rally the way that he has in fights and in the fight that is, mixed martial arts as a whole and the business as a whole.
No question. And, I say it all the time, much like the fighters, but I just want to say it. I really like this kid.
Yeah,
How can you not like Brandon?
He's
Jeez.
super happy. Again, like Davison Figueiredo walked into the octagon, like I thought they needed more security to hold him back. And, Brandon was such a nice guy. He offered his hand and that immediately diffused Davison. You obviously heard James Krause's thoughts on the idea of a fourth match and the timeline for that. I sort of echo his sentiments, Bruce. I worry that this is going to be a fight that takes a lot longer than it probably should to make if we're going to see Figueiredo, in the proper shape. And you have Brandon Moreno, who he wants to fight tomorrow if he could.
Well, time will tell, and Sean Shelby will tell us. So we'll find out.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to have a hard time getting your champion to defend his belt when his name is Brandon Moreno, because he'll fight anybody.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to step away from Brandon and James with all respect for a second. It was great having him on the show, but I want to stick with UFC 277. I have an apology to make.
What did you do?
Years and years and years ago in Brazil, I looked at Mario Yamasaki and I turned
is this
around
the
and
Kerry
said,
Hatley and Jacob Montalvo mistake?
And
Jeez,
people say how many mistakes you've made. I can pretty much count them.
Right.
But I did too Saturday night. And I brain farted.
What else did you do? I know you got the one Hatley and Montalvo.
I'm the first one to admit to it. Okay.
Right.
I effed up and I'll tell you what happened.
What was it?
Obviously with Kerry Hatley, I said Jacob Montalvo, right?
Right. That's easily forgivable.
So Mergliata's coming after me, all joking around with me, and Mike Beltran's joking with me, and Herb's joking with me on the sidelines. I go, it'll never happen again, guys. Sorry, blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
The next fight I get in there, and Mike Beltran is the referee. I said Dan Mergliata. Because on my card, it was written, and I'm in the heat of the moment.
Right.
I'm not making an excuse.
Right.
I made 2 mistakes. This is not what I'm paid to do. It's not the professional I am. I'm open to admit it.
I disagree, Bruce. I disagree. I think the fact that you made the mistake shows how professional you are, because it is so rare. So, lightning strikes every so often, Bob.
Well, I want to apologize to the fine referees, Mike Beltran and Kerry Hatley. They already did. Listen, we're all brothers, it's all good. But I'm telling you, I don't shine it. I face my mistakes and, I learn from them. And hey, what can I say? I just hate it because I have such a low mistake quotient. And 2 in one night is not my game. I've never done that.
No, that's what I'm saying. Lightning strikes every so often. So, it's like the example of like winning the lottery, not the bad luck lottery, but it's going to strike every once in a while.
Yeah. Well, I wish it would have struck for you and me. That person from Chicago won $1.28 billion.
That's too much.
$1.28 billion.
Your brain can't even comprehend that.
I can't even comprehend it.
No,
I mean, not that I'm anybody special.
What do you do? You go to work the next day? No, right? Like you can't. You just go buy a yacht or something.
About your work? No, I'm just like, hey, everybody. Matter of fact, I'll probably pay them money because I'm leaving.
Right? Seriously, like that's an insane amount of money. He was the only person to win as well.
He was the only person to win.
What do you do with that money? Like, what do you do?
Well, hopefully you don't spend it and lose it. We'll see.
That might be so much money you can't. I'm not. It's not a challenge.
I don't see how you can spend all that money. I really don't, unless you're an absolute idiot. I don't.
Yeah.
You can do it.
I mean, obviously taxes are going to be taken off the top, so let's cut it by 40% or whatever. But that's still so much money, Bruce. Wow.
Crazy. A couple other things that happened last week. President Biden tested positive. He tested
twice.
Negative. No. He tested positive. He had COVID. Go through his thing. Then he tested negative, I think, for a couple of days, and then he tested positive again.
Yeah.
He came back.
It's difficult. We're still learning so much about this virus, but I've definitely noticed a lot more people are getting it. It seems like it's on the uptick again. And I've heard LA County, talking about possibly putting a date on the calendar where they have to put that mask mandate back on.
It was supposed to be July 29th, but obviously it didn't go into effect, but let's see what happens. But and then anyway.
Are you masking up on the airplane still?
Absolutely.
No? Yeah.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, on the airplane coming home, I had 2 people around me sneezing. And when you hear sneezing, takes on such a different quotient
Yeah.
today than it did in the past.
Yeah. No,
Yes,
I remember I was in line at the post office right when COVID first started, and I had a mask on and I sneezed, and you would have thought that
You told me that story. Yeah.
oh my goodness. I never want to be in that situation again. I felt like I was, patient zero.
Yeah. I got picked up for I did my Puncher's Chance appearances in Dallas. Thanks for everybody that turned out. By the way, one of the people in Dallas, you're gonna like this. They came up to me and they said, I'd like you to sign a piece of paper because I want to get a tattoo of you on my body. And I've had 3 tattoos sent to me in the last 2 weeks, which I
saw that recent one, the one with the
the leg.
montage. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Whoever did that was an amazing
Excellent
tattoo
work.
artist.
Excellent work. So there's another one coming out. It's pretty wild. I can show it to you. They sent me a picture. So this one I think is pretty wild too.
Oh wow, that's the podcast logo.
Yeah, basically
Essentially.
they wanted to make sure the logo was correct, so they're getting that. Then at the signing I did on Saturday, a girl who I was working with, who's a big UFC fan and plain fan of mine, which is always nice. Married, by the way, so not anything, but
Right.
She said, I'd like you to sign a piece of paper. She sent me this yesterday. She had my name tattooed.
Wow.
See the paper?
Yeah, I see it. Yeah. Yeah.
Shoulder.
Yeah. We had Mike
That's
Catherwood
wild.
on the air a while ago, and Mike's a guy that used to work for K-Rock, and he had like Ozzy Osbourne write Sharpie on his chest, and he got
Wow.
that tattoo. So that's something that people are into, and that's kind of a cool tattoo. Like if you really appreciate someone's work enough to get their autograph, hey, you might as well just have it on you so you can take it everywhere you go. I'm
just so honored. It blows me away why anybody would even want to do that. But you know what? To each his own. Thank
Right.
you. I'm honored.
Yeah.
Good. If I may have a positive effect on your life, that makes me very, very happy.
Do you have any tattoos?
No.
Never wanted one?
Never wanted one? I'm not saying I never will. I just never have.
I've actually contemplated getting one recently.
I think if I think of the scenario that would make it work for me, it would have to be something very close to me. Maybe somebody I'm in love with to spend the rest of my life with. Maybe something.
That's a bad idea. That's a
no,
bad
not
idea.
the name.
Okay.
Whatever,
all right.
No, just a mutual whatever, or
like something that you like together, like the skyline of
Paris
or something.
To share. Maybe
Sure.
The other thing would be, I always love the original UFC logo with the Boss Rutan type character. This in the
Okay.
center. I
Yeah.
always like that. I thought about that, and
I look like him.
yeah. And then I thought about the classic mom tattoo at times.
Oh man.
I just have never done it. I've never.
Well, you have such a great relationship with your mother that a mom tattoo would actually be
it would work, yeah.
Fitting for you. So I don't know if you know this, but every broadcast that I do where I host, whether it's a play-by-play of a commentating, fight event or a podcast, the first words out of my mouth are, "Hey, everybody." It's something I do to pay homage to Adam Carolla, who's my favorite sort of broadcaster,
right?
Who did that on Loveline. And I've thought about getting what the sound waves look like in a sound editor, getting that on the inside of my wrist. Hey, everybody.
Yeah, little things like that. Like my friend just got one in her forearm that basically was about breathing. And it's this beautiful.
Okay.
It's just a beautiful symbol.
Yeah.
It's all about to each his own.
Right. So my parents had full sleeves. So it's odd for me that, not having tattoos in a roundabout way was rebelling against my parents. So, but as I get older, I think the "Hey, everybody" tattoo might be fitting.
You never know. I got to cover one subject here. This friggin' monkeypox now.
Yeah, this is a thing now.
It's not. Did you hear what happened in New York?
No.
They're not monkeying around when it comes to monkeypox. I'm not trying to make a joke. Right.
Okay.
But 1 in 4 cases of monkeypox are originating in New York.
That's the thing that is unfortunate about it, is just the term monkeypox sounds like a joke. And I unfortunately think that people aren't taking it very seriously.
Here's the joke. I want you to just think of this correlation. 3 years or so ago, or whenever that November was before COVID hit and we went through all our issues, we heard about this thing was happening in China.
Right.
And I remember Dana White told me there was one case in Vegas, right? That they just.
And I was telling you every week on this show, it's never going to get here, Bruce. Don't worry about it. It's not a big deal.
And I'm not trying to be, pessimistic here, but a doctor friend of mine who works in Vegas said that the first case in Vegas just came in, right? It was a gay man. he mentioned. I guess that is they're associating that, but that doesn't make any difference. You know, it just spreads. It spreads. It spreads. New York has 1,345 cases now. California is second with 799 cases.
Yeah, I mean, after COVID, I'm going to take everything pretty serious.
Yeah.
I don't know much about monkeypox and how it spreads, but just getting back to like what you were saying, on the airplane, I'm getting on a flight tomorrow. I'm going out to
Mask.
Savannah, Georgia, and I'm probably
Mask.
going to wear a mask for the first time in a couple months.
I kind of like masks for two reasons. I mean, not that I'm any big celebrity or anything, because I can't stand that word, but I like to relax when I'm in airports, and I get approached a lot. The mask helps me hide a little bit.
Well, people are less likely to recognize you when they can only see your eyes, essentially, so.
Yes and no, but I mean, that's one selfish reason for me, but my main reason is to protect myself. New York has ordered 170,000 vaccine doses for monkeypox. And this again, now
so there's already a vaccine for it, though.
Yeah. So vaccines for COVID, vaccines for monkeypox, flu. Oh my God. Oh, I mean, can you really have that many vaccines in your body?
Don't go down that rabbit hole. We'll be here all day.
Yeah. I don't know what to say. I don't really want to talk about it beyond that, but listen, it's starting to creep. Be careful. But the horrific thing about this are these pussy, these sores that people get from this. It's horrible.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to get sick. I don't want to get sick.
Positive note. Yeah. Positive note.
All right.
Sports wise, the NFL's internal gate revenue report, the Raiders were on the top, number one internal gate revenue in the NFL, 119 million.
Probably because they're going out to see your it's time warm up. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. San Francisco second, New England third, the Raiders, the Rams fourth, the Giants fifth, and Dallas sixth.
Yeah, it makes sense. I think Vegas should be up there because that stadium is absolutely beautiful. They have a great product. That team is.
They really put on a show. Forget about me. They really put on a show.
But it's not hard to cheer for that team. You know what I mean? And they've been through a lot of adversity over the last year. So not surprising. And also, too, just Vegas is a destination city. So why wouldn't you want to go see a Raiders game?
And because of that, I think they can charge the highest prices possible.
Oh, without question.
It's working. And that's supposedly the most expensive ticket I've heard. I don't know. If
yeah, but I mean, there's a brand new stadium. So,
yeah,
enjoy it.
Buzz Aldrin's Apollo 11 jacket sold for $2.7 million. Mickey Mantle's card. Now he had the card out, 1952. They're claiming it could exceed $10 million.
That's crazy.
That's more than the Honus Wagner card. That'll make it the most expensive trading card ever in history.
The jacket makes sense to me.
Yeah.
It's 101. Baseball cards, mass produced, even if there aren't many. That's crazy.
Yep, exactly. And what was the last thing I wanted to say here? Tony Dow, Leave It to Beaver. Remember, they reported he was in hospice. They reported he had passed. He hadn't passed, but he did pass away. And
yeah,
I think definitely my childhood, but your childhood was.
It was syndicated, Bruce. Right? I mean, there was no way I could get by without watching some of the classic television series, and that was definitely one of them.
Yeah, very cool. Well, on that note, again, my condolences go out to his family and loved ones, of course. TJ, anything to report for this week? I'm back. I don't have to work this weekend, and I'm just happy to have a weekend home.
Yeah, no, this Friday night, I'll be calling live fights with Pearl Gonzalez for Jorge Masvidal's Icon Fighting Championship. It takes place in Savannah, Georgia, which is apparently one of the most charming cities in these United States. So I'm excited to go down there, and you can watch it live on UFC Fight Pass this Friday night.
Awesome. Very cool. And for me, I'm here doing It's Time Radio. I certainly have a ton of other business to do as usual, but I will not be in San Diego this weekend. Is it this weekend?
Yeah. Ultimate Fighter finale and all that business.
No. San Diego's on the third. No, San Diego's the 13th. There's no UFC this weekend.
There isn't?
Is there? No, there is a UFC.
There is a UFC. Yeah.
Yes.
Ultimate Fighter finale. I'm telling you.
Yes. The Ultimate Fighter finale. Sorry about that. Pardon me, guys.
All right. Hey, we got to go.
Yeah, we got to go. Okay, I got to go too. I'll be back next week. We'll have another fine guest. So cool to have James on. So cool to have Brandon on. So cool to be on here with you too, TJ. Go do your work. Safe travels. Wear a mask. All right.
I'm just excited to leave my backyard. It's nice, but it's been a long time.
Actually, it looks very pretty. Enjoy it. All right, everybody, set your goals, write them down. Be the best you can be. So when you step on that path to pursue them, you are performing at your best, whether you're number one, number two, or the champion of the world. The bottom line is take respect to yourself, be a role model to your sphere of influence, and always be the best you can be. Most of all, be happy, be healthy, enjoy this life. It's worth living. Big cheers, everybody. See you next week. Buffer out.